Saw a native wearing traditional Kiribati armour, plating woven from coconut fibres and a helmet fashioned out of a pufferfish, 1925. A nightclub in Paris, where everyone chooses the music to dance to, adjusting it in their headphones, 1963. King Victor Emmanuel III of Italy, observing field operation during World War I, 1915. A Wedding in Romania, 1930s. Black Panthers founder Huey Newton meeting with People's Temple cult leader Jim Jones in Cuba, 1977. A teenage boy giving flowers to Princess Diana with the help of his friends, 1989. Opening night at Circus Circus Las Vegas, October 18, 1968. Members of the Noble and Holy Order of the Knights of Labor, one of the first United States labor unions, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, 1869. Arnold Schwarzenegger and Betty Weider, 1969. Kylie Minogue, 1988. A group of white segregationists attacks a group of blacks as they began to swim at St. Augustine Beach, Florida, on June 25, 1964. Police moved in and broke up the fighting. Bill Murray on the set of Groundhog Day, 1993. Sculptor Felix de Weldon, working on the United States Marine Corps War Memorial, circa 1953. In 1939, burlesque dancer Zarita, born Catherine Boyd, was photographed casually walking her boa in New York City, known for performing with her pet snakes. Raquel Welch on the set of The Magic Christian, 1969. Terry Garr, Gene Wilder, Marty Feldman, Peter Boyle and Mel Brooks behind the scenes of Young Frankenstein, 1974. On the set of the film Mortal Kombat in 1985. Queen, 1970. Saguaro National Park, 1935 versus 2010. Many saguaros have died out due to freezes and droughts. British fascist Oswald Mosley on an attempted march through Manchester in 1962. Fieldbrook stump, 1890s. Photograph taken during Leonid Kulik's expedition in 1928 to the site of the Tunguska event, which occurred 20 years earlier, likely an explosion caused by a mid-air burst of an asteroid, the most significant impact event in recorded history. Brad Pitt, Edward Norton and David Fincher on the set of Fight Club, 1999. A cat lady from the 1930s. Street football, Rome, 1956. The wedding of Franklin Delano Roosevelt married Eleanor Roosevelt on March 17, 1905. A North Vietnamese tank rolls through the gate of the presidential palace in Saigon, April 30, 1975, signifying the fall of South Vietnam. The Socialist Republic of Vietnam was formed in 1976. Arthur Luce, who had neurofibromatosis, which causes extreme skin abnormalities. He was 42 when he performed at Ripley's Auditorium in Chicago in 1933. He died in 1991, aged 97. A black man rides a white-only bus in apartheid South Africa in an act of resistance, 1986. Elvis with German fans while in the army, 1959. Guerrillas guard an outpost on the Vietnam-Cambodia border protected by poison bamboo punji stakes. Such booby traps were meant to wound, not kill, because wounded soldiers slowed down their unit, and medevacs gave away its position in 1972. Eligible Black Bachelors of 1964. In old Black Society magazines, this was a way of making respectable marriage matches without the direct involvement of family. Funeral of a German officer, Stalingrad, 1942. Hitler wishing his guests a Happy New Year on New Year's Eve, 1936. To protect London and other Thames settlements during World War II, the Royal Navy built several mounsel forts. An American soldier peels onions while wearing a gas mask at a training camp in the United States, 1918. Soviet bicycle troops with war dogs on parade, Red Square, Moscow, May 1st, 1938. Walter Williams, Civil War veteran lying in bed with cigar, surrounded by family and friends. 1959. Kevin Smith protests his own movie Dogma, November 12, 1999, Eatontown, New Jersey. Photo of one of the last public talks of Frederick Douglass on the 26th of March, 1892. Favourite Beatle, Gaumont Cinema, Doncaster, December 10, 1963. A Buddha statue in Bamiyan, Afghanistan, not yet shot at by the Taliban, 1985. The largest funeral attendance in Swiss history in 1960 for General Henry Guisan, who ensured that Switzerland was not invaded during World War II, having mobilised the country's defences in only 3 days in 1939. Katharine Hepburn enjoyed riding a skateboard 1960s. (1967) Jack Nicholson on a custom 45 flathead Harley bobber while filming Rebel Rousers. Stranded people sleep in the lobby at the Waldorf Astoria Hotel, New York City, blackout 1977. Aleister Crowley, dressed as Osiris, as part of occult rituals for the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn Secret Society, circa 1900. United States soldier viewing art stolen by the Nazi regime and stored in church at Ellingen, Germany. View of the mass audience of metalheads at the Monsters of Rock tour concert at the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum on July 23, 1988. Mila Jovovich answers fan questions in an AOL online chat room, February 13, 1995. Mannequins and other objects are installed at the Atomic Testing Grounds for Operation Teapot in 1955. One-man band J.C. Holstein in the early 1900s. Clearing ice and snow from railway tracks using a MiG-15 jet engine, Czechoslovakia, 1970. Tour de France 1936, an assistant passes food to a cyclist. Collection of scrap metal for recycling for military needs, 1942. London sewer flusher gear, 1950s. Princess Diana meeting with her favourite band, Duran Duran, in 1983. Collision between the Ferry Queen of Victoria and the Soviet cargo ship, Sergei Yesenin, August 3, 1970. Informal photo, Queen Elizabeth II, shortly after giving birth to Prince Edward, 1964. A family photo in Johannesburg, South Africa, 1989. A group of African American and white demonstrators are guarded by a heavy surrounding force of police officers during a wade-in at St. Augustine Beach, Florida, on June 29, 1964. Only a few segregationists were on hand, and there were no incidents. Bedouin Woman Weaves, 1898. A 106-year-old Armenian woman guarding a home with an AKM, 1990. Terminator 2, 1991. The way practical effects were done. Ozzy Osbourne in an Illinois basement, 1976. Kharkiv residents look at anti-Soviet World War II posters. Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, 1980s. On November 21, 1963, President John F. Kennedy and First Lady Jacqueline Kennedy shake hands with well-wishers who lined the ramp at Houston International Airport to welcome them to the Texas city. The Dizengoff Street bus bombing. This day, October 19th, in 1994 in Tel Aviv. Lavang, town south of Quang Tri City, Vietnam War, 1972. Black Market, Italy, 1947. Audrey Hepburn, aged 9, by an unknown photographer, 1938. Wounded soldiers are greeted with a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year at the Naval Hospital in Kingseat, Scotland, 1941. Dubai 30 years apart. Serbian mobster, warlord and paramilitary commander Jelko Ražnatović, aka Arkan holding a baby tiger, 1991. Ražnatović's unit, the Serb Volunteer Guard, was notorious for its war crimes, and he was one of the most feared men in Serbia. Roy Scheider on the set of Jaws. In late December 1941, Churchill posed on the White House lawn with Diana Hopkins, daughter of presidential aide Harry Hopkins, and Fowler, the president's Scottie. Demonstrators listened to a performer in Central Park on Moratorium Day, October 15, 1969. Moratorium Day was a mass demonstration and teach-in staged across the United States in protest against continued American involvement in Vietnam. A man stands inside magma on a lava plain, Iceland, 1893. A young Brigitte Bardot wearing glasses. Senator John F. Kennedy is mobbed by well-wishers carrying Kennedy banners on his arrival at Los Angeles International Airport on July 9, 1960, to personally lead his drive for the Democratic presidential nomination. The Dion quintuplets, Yvonne, Annette, Cecile, Emily and Marie, were born on May 28, 1934, near Callander, Ontario, Canada. They were the first known set of quintuplets to survive infancy. 1996. Keanu Reeves visits his grandmother on his father's side in Hawaii. Keanu is the son of a Chinese-Hawaiian father and an English mother. FBI agents carry Vietnam War draft resister Robert Whittington Eaton, 25-year-old, from a dwelling in Philadelphia on April 17, 1969, where Eaton had chained himself to 13 young men and women. This is the beginning of a clash between African Americans and police officers in Rochester, New York on July 27, 1964. Fire hoses turned on the house's porch. A woman stands her ground as companions duck behind the porch's wall. Winston Churchill, a skilled mason among other things, builds a cottage for his daughters on his Chartwell estate in Kent, 1928. These three children, two aged 6 and one aged 10, worked as oyster harvesters in Port Royal, United States in 1912. Work began every day at 4 a.m. In 1978, President Jimmy Carter presented the medal to Neil Armstrong. Ronald Reagan and Barbara Stanek pose for a promo still for Cattle Queen of Montana 1954. Hitler tells Mussolini how the Bialystok cauldron was formed and liquidated. The first ever known photo of Canada Niagara Falls taken in 1840. Grand Central Terminal clock repair 1954. Loggers felling giant trees in British Columbia 1918. American soldiers talk with local women during the United States intervention in Panama, known as Operation Just Cause. David Bowie visiting the Musée d'Orsay in Paris in 1990. A young Drew Barrymore behind the scenes of Firestarter in 1984. Students at Augustana College react to the not guilty verdict of O.J. Simpson's trial, October 3, 1995. Imperial Army soldiers learn to walk with their new limbs in a Budapest hospital, World War I. Stump House, United States, 1905. After party at Wembley Stadium 1975. Front row, Billie Jean King, Elton John, Martina Navratilova. Back row, Paul McCartney, Linda McCartney, Dean and Dino Martin. Junior, Harry Nilsson. At Woodstock 99, festival goers splashed and rolled around in mud. Tour de France 1948. Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher on the set of The Empire Strikes Back 1979. A police officer carrying a young girl walks past 3 civil rights demonstrators on the ground next to Tulsa, Oklahoma, 1964. They went limp when arrested and forced officers to carry them from the restaurant. Classic horror film actor Boris Karloff at the Magic Castle in Hollywood with the Frankenstein monster and a gorilla circa 1967. Hitler and Helga Goebbels. Model Donyal Luna models a backless dress, United States 1967. Albert and his sister Maria Einstein, circa 1994. A man on his tricycle in the 70s. Jimmy the Roller Skating Horse 1952. A beheaded statue of an American soldier stands next to a bombed-out theatre near the district town of Cu Chi, northwest of Saigon, on December 13, 1972. Deep-sea diver with an umbrella, 1949. Charlie Chaplin at a costume party, 1925. The capsizing of the SS Eastland in the Chicago River killed 844 passengers and crew. Chicago, Illinois, July 1915. A British truck carrying British infantry is blown up by a mine. The Battle of El Alamein, October 1942. The Battle of El Alamein was a battle during the North African campaign of World War II. Burial at sea for officers and men of USS Intrepid who were killed in kamikaze attacks the day prior, 26th November 1944. North Korean prisoners of war dance a square dance in front of the Statue of Liberty at an internment camp in South Korea, 1952. John Franklin Candy, 1980. In 1940, during Winter War in Finland, 2 Soviet infantrymen were found frozen in their foxhole. American troops in Venice, Italy, 1945.